Right now.
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 Because it's time to right now.
Right now.
Right
Right now.
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 Because it's time to right now.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to another daily writing stream. I'm Kaufman, and today, as we do on Mondays, we like to get ready for the week and really set our writing vibe, set the writing goal, and the consistency for the week. So, as we're getting close, we're about to hop into the fall. The question I pose to you: how are you feeling about your storytelling? Are you feeling great? Are you feeling ready? Are you like, all right, I'm going to get in the fall. I'm going to get those word counts, whether you've been joining us for the August writing challenge, or maybe you're getting back into school, or you're maybe getting back into the hang of it. I would love to hear from you. Hop into the comments and let me know. Today, we're going to do a writing sprint. Maybe more if we have time. So I'm going to start off. We'll do one full 45-minute. I'm going to do a 45-minute sprint. And hopefully I can finish this chapter. I'm so close to my midpoint. So close to that midpoint. You know, when you're near such an epic chapter and you're just trying to push. So you know what? Slowly but surely, we'll see what we see. So I'm gonna hop into it. And hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome, Emily and Nell. Hope the writing vibe is treating you well today. Hopefully we're really gonna be channeling our writers today. So we're gonna hop straight into it. As usual, you know the drill. I'll throw up the music, I'll come join you in the chat, and we're gonna push. This is the first time I'm writing today. I'm gonna try to catch up with you if you've already been writing. So as you can see, I already have the writing stuff set up here. And I think I'm ready. So without further ado, let's hop into the writing vibe. Whether you are writing, brainstorming, editing, revising, or maybe you're just trying to find some inspiration, come join us because it's time to write now. All right. And that was the writing sprint. How did that writing sprint treat you? Were you able to make any progress that time? Hopefully. I was definitely on a vibe. I was like on a roll that time. I was like, heck yes. So, how many words do you get in? Were you able to hopefully make a little bit of progress on our sprint? I know we're getting close to the end of August, and we're getting close to the end of our August writing challenge. I was like, how much did I get through? I'm so close to the end of this chapter. Oh man. So much fun. So much fun. I'm so close to my midpoint. I just like want to finish the end of this bit so badly. Let's see. I got through about 900 words. Well, I was doing good. Well, yeah, I'm clearly on a roll. I was like, wow, yeah. So clearly I did good that time. Let's see. Aim for a chapter a day. Len, that's some good advice. You're like, how many chapters do you have left? Aim for a chapter a day and that'll go quick. And you see, like, Lynn, this is my problem, right? Because I think if I was writing offline and with my schedule, I'd probably be able to go faster with it. But I think because I only do have a set amount of time for writing, I feel like I'm never able to set like a chapter goals as much as I would like to. And that's probably why it's taking me so long. I seem to go through over the past couple months, I seem to go through a chapter in about a week and a half in terms of a revision. That seems to be about my pacing. But I know the first half of the book needed much more heavier revising than the second half, so I feel a little stronger that the second half of the book is going to won't require as much like revising or rewriting. So, but yeah, and I'm also hoping that in September my schedule might open up a little bit, so I'll probably actually be able to spend a little bit more time on writing and writing sprints and pushing through the next part of the book a little faster. So that's definitely my goal. We'll see. Like fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Vice, like that sounds like a dope elevator pitch. Aw, thank you. Yeah, just wait till you hear the elevator pitch. I'm like the blurb for The Last Scarecrow is really epic. I love how the blurb sounds. I'm like the blurb for it is absolutely really epic. I've read it so many times on the stream. Let's see. Lynn, you're like, nice, got around 512 words. Bazinga, that's what's up. Yeah, it really does. This what I'm doing with Scarecrow is definitely quite an epic little adventure for sure. It's definitely quite an epic adventure. I'm like so stoked at how it came out. Hey, what's up, Crown? You're like, are you winning? I'm always winning, right? As long as I'm writing, as long as I'm working on my storytelling, it's always a win. I'm that weirdo who loves every single part of the writing process. Writing, revising, editing, brainstorming. I'll probably enjoy the publishing part as well once I get there. So nice, Emily. You did about 100 words for the new story of chapter 4. Nice. It's always exciting when you're at the beginning of a book and you're pushing through those early chapters and like the story starts, you start getting ideas and it starts like coming to life in a sense. It's really cool. That's a really fun part of the storytelling process. Definitely a lot of fun. It was like, man, I remember when I was that far back, I was like, I think by the time, I don't think I decided on what type of story I wanted to tell until I got to chapters like 5 or 6, I think. Because Scarecrow started off as a free write based off a picture. And then I basically I took a step back and outlined the entire thing once I was at like chapter 5 or 6. So, and now 160,000 words later. And I'm halfway through the second draft. So definitely a win. All right. So definitely let me see. I'm looking at And I am almost at the end of this chapter too. I was like, I don't think I have enough time for another writing sprint as much as I want to do one. Awesome. So what I will probably do, my friends, is I'm probably gonna have to call it because I don't think I have enough time for a full another writing sprint. But I'm glad that we were able to hopefully get a little bit of progress. Mondays is always a great day. It's always a great start and a great push to the week. Yeah, Crown, are you published anywhere? Technically, yes. We actually published our first anthology as a community, Freaky Friday. We published it last October. We basically held a fiction contest, and the 12 semifinalists who won, it was free to enter. 12 semifinalists who won were published in the anthology. The paperback edition, I, myself, and our other co-host wrote special stories for it. So I'm technically publishing an anthology, even though I've been writing my entire life. I probably have well over like 50 projects completed, but I've never really tried to publish, or I never really tried to embark on like planning on publishing a story until this part of my journey I've been on. So like, I feel like I practiced my writing for probably 20, 25 years until I like to get ready for this part of my journey. And now I feel confident. Like Scarecrow is going to be my debut novel. It's going to be epic. It's a really cool story. That's not just me. Feedback from other people tell me it's a cool story as well. So as writers, as the authors of our own stories, we are definitely biased. We are definitely biased. I guess I'll find out whenever it launches. Right now, my goal is for Scarecrow. I've missed the fall publishing date because the book's just not ready yet. So that means my next publishing launch date will probably be would be January 2026 if I have it ready within the next couple months. But the only way for me to get it ready in a timely manner means that I'm going to have to push September. I'm really going to have to push myself on writing sprints and on my revising velocity because the summer's been definitely slower than I anticipated. So, but that's life. Enjoying the process, right? Yeah, man. And then as I promised everyone, so I shared this on a previous stream, over on the Right Now YouTube channel, we are about to celebrate. We're getting close. We're definitely getting close to hitting the 1,000 subscriber milestone. And that's thanks to all of you guys who've joined me throughout this journey of the past 600 plus consecutive streams. I'm so grateful. And as a thanks, I'll be posting like a full on video. It's kind of like my thoughts, everything I've learned throughout this, the past a year and a half. And then I'll also be finally doing it as popular request, by popular demand. I'll finally schedule the Last Scarecrow, the book cover reveal. And the book cover is epic, by the way. Like everyone I've showed it to has told me that it looks really awesome. It looks professional. I hired an artist. I'm so happy with it. So I'm going to be doing the official book cover reveal. I'll also be launching the author website once I hit 1,000 on the Right Now YouTube channel. And it looks like we're at, where are we at? Nine something. We're getting there. It's like crawling up there. 9:55. Yeah, so we're getting there. It means only 45 more subs, which means probably hit that by like October at this rate. So super stoked. Once I hit that, I'll schedule the cover reveal, and it'll be a party. So definitely looking forward to that. And then looking forward into the fall, what do we got planned? Fall, what do we got? So I've been going back and forth on Freaky Friday on our next fiction contest, where I'm trying to think about how I want to frame it. I think I want to make it a little easier. Just like logistically on our side, so that way I don't get too pulled from Scarecrow. Right now, my priority is finishing Scarecrow, and I think that's where my energy needs to go. For everyone who was involved in the Faded Fantasy competition over the spring, we extended the deadline for our semifinalists to submit their stories, which means we will be publishing the Faded Fantasy anthology probably by the end of September. But let me tell you, there's just some cool stories, and all the semifinalists, we're giving them a chance to add some improved touches to their story. So the stories are going to be even better than what you saw in the live stream. And for anyone who missed out, everything's linked down in the YouTube description. So if you want to learn more about what we're doing, it's all down in the YouTube description on the Right Now YouTube channel. And if you're on Twitch, we stream here every day. So I am always around. What do we got queued up for this week? Let me throw up this week's schedule. What do I got queued up? So we're the week of August 25th. Right now schedule looks like, where are we at? August 25th. Here we go. Okay. So what do we got queued up? I'll throw up my screen, and this is what we got. So for right now stuff I got going on this week. Obviously we got our writing sprints throughout the week. Tomorrow will be slightly earlier, right? So I'll be at 2 Pacific, 2, 3, 4, 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for a writing sprint. Obviously Wednesday, our 61st writers group meeting. Saturday is going to be a YouTube channel members event. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on how to create a story Bible. So make sure if you want to get the members only event, all you got to do is hit that join button down below the video and become a YouTube channel member. Great way to support the community. And I know it's by popular demand. People wanted to know, how do you create a story Bible? It's literally the perfect way to organize your storytelling, especially for series. And it's cool. Too many writers, especially too many beginning writers. Like I've spoken with so many, I've probably spoken with thousands over the past year and a half. And too many writers embark on these like long journeys with the writing, and they're not organized, or they don't find a system that works for them in terms of how do you organize the characters, the plot lines, the ideas, the thoughts, the dialogue, the structure, book 2, book 3. There's so many things to keep track of. And if you don't have a system that works for you, then you're going to be spending so much more time on the back end when you're trying to write the story, but then you have to keep going back and forth on picking things and trying to remember small details. So I always highly recommend a story Bible. I'll be deep diving that into Saturday. For anyone who wants feedback on their story and critique show will be back next week. So once again, our bi-weekly stream, story and critique show, will be back next Saturday, September 6th. So make sure that if you want feedback on your story, submit now. The sooner you submit, the more likely you are to be able to get in on the queue. Once again, everything linked down in the YouTube description down below. And then this Sunday will be the last day of the August Writing Challenge. So, my friends, we're going to see just how many words we made for the August Writing Challenge. I probably did about 18,000 words. Maybe I got a little bit more. I probably did a little bit more. Whether you made the 18,000 word goal, the 48,000, or the 80,000 word goal, we'll be checking in. I'll probably have some of the other author tubers on the stream on this Sunday, the last day of August. And then next Monday, we go into fall, pumpkin spice season, Halloween around the corner, and all that fun stuff. And then I'll start talking about what the fall is going to look like. I've been going back and forth on how I want to do Freaky Friday, so more next week. And that's all that's on my mind, my friends. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate you. If you enjoyed that stream, tap that like button. Help us show the algorithms that writing streams are cool. All right, my friends, that's all that I got for you. Thank you for joining. I'll be back tomorrow, but unfortunately, you found yourself at the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write.
Right now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now.